Welcome to Limitless. I am your host, Brittney Van Gestel. I am a high priestess and coach walking women back to their sacred sexuality and sacred wealth. This is a podcast where we are rewriting what it means to be a woman in service. And it's time to hang up the hustle culture, which is masking quantum leaps, and create a life, business, money, and love that is deeply nourishing, supportive, and authentic. It's time to create your limitless life. Welcome back, beautiful humans. I'm your host, Brittney Van Gestel, and I am so excited to be back in your ears, in front of your faces. I am loving the YouTube. I keep calling it the YouTube. I feel like a boomer. I feel like the YouTubes. Thanks. No, I'm really loving it, and thank you so much to everyone for your messages of just love. It's just been really, really lovely. So even if I haven't replied to you, I really much appreciate it. So thanks, darlings. But yeah, we're back. We're back, baby, better than ever. And I have a lot to share. So I've been talking a lot about the boss babe culture, quantum leaping, masking our trauma, using quantum leaping to evade our trauma. And I actually saw this happen firsthand just this last week, where someone very respected, has tens of thousands of followers, probably six figures, I'm not even sure. But I always have looked up to her, and I will still look up to her. Her transmission is incredible. But she came across like the boss babe. And I mentioned how you can be doing everything in your business, but the rest of your life is a dumpster fire. And that's exactly what it was. She was honest and said that she, it was only up until the end of last year or something like that where she ended up leaving an abusive relationship and all of the things. But you would have no idea that that's what was happening. And obviously everyone has their own journey. This is no shame or judgment to what she's had to undergo or go through, what she's had to navigate whatsoever. But it is this perfect representation of everything that I've been saying. She's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but then the rest of her life is in turmoil. And it was just such a incredibly this is what I'm talking about. I'm not the only one that's gone through this. I am not the only one that speaks about this, but seeing it firsthand in a way that someone else is quote unquote further along than me and the rest of their life was in absolute turmoil, it really goes to show how us successful, badass, beautiful boss babe women, we go for our success and we go for our businesses purely because it gives us an opportunity to not have to look at everything else. And it gives us the opportunity to not have to really audit the rest of our lives, because if this is really good, it's only going to be a matter of time before the rest of it gets good as well. And that can happen, absolutely, until we've had this come to Jesus moment and we realize that we actually have to be with the stuff that we've been avoiding. That's where we find our deep richness. And I'm pretty sure she's gone on to have one of her most successful years since overcoming all of that. But it just really goes to show that what I'm speaking about transcends so many different realities, so many different financial types, tax brackets, all of the things. And it's just deeply interwoven into our being to be able to be well, I can do this. Look how far I can go. Watch me do this, because we're trying to prove something, even though this is deeply subconscious. And we wonder why we get burnt out. We wonder why our manifestations aren't working to its full capacity. And yeah, it's just such a beautiful wake up call for all of us to start to do things really differently, because at the end of the day, you're destined for greatness. Your desire is still something that needs to be attained and welcomed. And as I've said so many fucking times, I'm not here to invalidate what you want. I'm just here to ensure that it is something that is deeply aligned to your soul's authentic template of what you're here to create and do. Now, I've been thinking about this more, and I just want to really help you understand a little bit more around how to manifest from this new space. And it really got me asking the question of, how do I articulate this? And I've shared so many times, but it's like our inauthentic desires has actually come from our ego, where we think that's what we desire, that's what we want, and that's what we strive for, which then leaves us burnt out, and we have tastes and nibbles of what it is that we actually want, but it doesn't actually create the full fulfillment. And then there is the authentic truth of desire, which is our soul's desire. There is a massive frequency shift between the two, and this is your opportunity to figure out what is your truth, because manifesting really just comes down to this ability to create a sensation, to create an emotional feeling, to have a certain vibration happening in your body. And one of the main laws of manifestation is feel it in order to receive it. There's a reason why I'm going to just label them egoic desires have been such a big sensation, a taste sensation, a dream life sensation for you, because it represents a certain emotion that your subconscious needs to feel. Okay. So once we can actually articulate and identify what that egoic desire was actually there to make you feel, then you can actually start to work with that sensation from your true authentic self, your true soul desires. And then this is actually how you bridge the gap between where you are right now and where you deeply want to be, that is true to your, again, authentic code of success. So when we can start to work with it from that perspective, we actually completely revolutionize how we are in business, how we are in relationships, how we are with money, all the things. Because when we are in our ego and going after something so deeply, we're only chasing a sensation, because whatever that manifestation is, it represents something that we truly want, because it's going to create a sensation of stability, of safety, of love, of worship, of whatever it is. But all we need to do is copy and paste that in a new spreadsheet. It's all glittery. It's all glittery and it's sparkly and delicious and moody as fuck, depending on who you are, in your soul Excel spreadsheet. And I don't even know why I'm using that analogy, because I fucking hate spreadsheets. That's not my jam, but that's okay. So when we can start to work with that, we start to really fast track our ability to create and actually receive. And there's also the point of, you have to be okay with what is here and now. You have to be okay with what is present in your life. Because when you're trying to manifest from a place of, this isn't good enough, and I'm not enough as I am, and this is fucking shit, I can't wait to manifest my multiple 6-figure business, I can't wait to manifest my 7-figure business, I can't wait to manifest whatever, we're actually canceling out our ability to manifest the thing, because you're not worthy of it now. I'm not saying you're not worthy. There's a subconscious programming that what is here right now is not enough. It never will be enough. And so therefore you outsource your desire, you outsource your worthiness, you outsource your power to an outcome that is in the future. And I want to be very clear that I have noticed that this is what I've been doing, and this is what I want to talk about today. Because, I mean, I don't want to rehash everything, and sometimes I feel like a broken record, so I apologize, but it just feels so real that I just have to share this still. But truthfully, this year has been really difficult because of my health and everything that's happened. When I see myself in the mirror, it doesn't feel like that's me. I don't look like me. I'm really struggling to be in this place of, hey, I love me and who I'm seeing all the time. And it's really, it's really brought up a lot of things, because obviously last year, where I was like hashtag thriving, I was the fittest I've been. My skin was clear. My hair was luscious. And I was just like fucking rocking it. Like I felt like $1 million. And then this year saw massive hair loss, extreme chronic fatigue, dermatitis, cystic acne, like really rapid weight gain. And it's been really jolting to be quote unquote back there, because obviously I've had a really big journey with my physical health. And I noticed how I'm still telling myself that as I am right now is not enough. And I love you, Brittney. I'm still telling myself that as I am has to be better. I'm still noticing the programming coming up that it's just like, once I reach X weight, or when my skin has cleared up to this degree, or when my hair stops fucking falling out, then I'm going to do the thing. Then I'm going to be seen. Then I'm going to feel like everything is working for me again. And all I'm doing is outsourcing my power and outsourcing my ability to manifest to something that doesn't exist. And it's quite interesting, because technically that is what manifesting is. Like, it doesn't exist yet. But we're like tuning into the vibration. We're like holding the frequency and all the things. It doesn't exist, but we're allowing it to dictate our emotions. But I just see how I'm allowing what's here in front of me in my gloriousness in this season of my life. I'm noticing how it hasn't been enough. And I'm like, what the fuck has it been taking me so long to overcome this? Bear in mind, it has been like a roller coaster of things. It was severely anemic, an internal bleed. Then it was still severe anemia, but the internal bleed seemed to have healed. And then all of a sudden it was the mold toxicity and the poisoning. So that's fun. But I've just been in this season where this whole time there's been a lot happen over the last 7 months. I'm like, why the fuck am I not better yet? Why don't I feel amazing again? Why can't I quite literally pull my feet out of the fucking mud and just do the thing? Because I know what I need to do, but why can't I fucking do it? Because the reason why I've struggled to do the thing, because I've invalidated who I am right now. I've invalidated my power and my true essence as I am right now in all of my glory, as I like sit here before you. I've been invalidating my beautiful body because she isn't up to the standard that I want her to be. And it's just like, fuck me. If I keep working from that space, and if I keep on being in that energy and being in that reality and that frequency, I'm actually never going to shift gears out of this. It's always going to be laced. It's always going to be capped according to this, where I will have little nibbles on my manifestation, where I'll have little like, oh, that's a cute little like hors d'oeuvre of my manifestation. And now it's just like, oh my gosh, I just had to come back to basics. I had to come back to mirror work. I had to come back to just like the affirmations of being like, oh, Brittney, I'm just like learning to love this body again, and that's okay. And finding acceptance and finding compassion, because that is going to be the beautiful highway to what it is that I actually deeply desire. I don't desire to be unfit and unhealthy. I desire to be extremely fit and healthy. And I know it will take time, and that's okay. I'm not having to quantum leap my health for the fucking sake of it. I'm just allowing myself to be like, oh, wow, we're doing a lot of deep reprogramming here, because as I am right now is kind of like, has been my worst case scenario. Bitch. I don't know if you remember, but I did a podcast episode probably almost this time last year where, oh my God, it is like ticking in my brain right now, where it's like, once you become okay with your worst case scenario, that is also how you quickly manifest. And it's just occurred to me that my worst case scenario has happened according to obviously my conditioning and all of the things. And here I am living out my worst case scenario. But have I died? No. Was it close? Maybe. But I'm so dramatic just then. But now I'm just noticing that it's like the more that I can accept what's here in my quote unquote worst case scenario, I'm okay and it's okay. And I still love myself. I still love my life. There are things I obviously want to change, but as soon as we can create the full permissions around our worst case scenario, which I'm living out right now, then we quite literally fast track our ability to manifest the reality, the health, the body, the business, the bank account that we deeply, deeply desire. Oh my God, I love this. And so what's just really cool about that is you have the roadmap to completely walk the path of what it is that you want from this lifetime. And it's just like so empowering because I'm like, oh, fuck. That just felt like the final piece just then. I'm not even kidding. Oh, wow. That fully just felt like the final piece for me. And now I get to be with that. And one of the most powerful processes that I learned from my mentor, EJ Love, was the 4 permissions. And it is being able to notice what's there and say, like, it's okay. It's okay that this is what I'm feeling. It's safe to feel that way. And coming into a sense of acceptance as well. There's a process of 4 things that you can do, which you can learn actually in multi-word worship, just say. But it is about, it's okay that I'm feeling. Oh, that's what it is. I fully blanked it. So the first one is naming what you feel. The second one is letting yourself know it's okay that you feel. The third one is I am safe to feel, insert whatever emotion is there. And then lastly is I accept that I feel X emotion. And what's so beautiful about that is it's completely reprogramming the somatic process, the somatic neural pathways around these feelings and sensations, because when we don't give ourselves permission to feel certain things, we cause shame, and shame just spirals us into a bigger sensation of feeling. So if you guys can do that, if you're noticing whatever might be coming up for you, which is why things might not be happening or whatever, use the 4 Ps. Honestly, it's so fucking like beautiful, and I use it quite frequently, especially with a certain cycle of breath, the 4 breath, the box breath. That's really, really beautiful. So yeah. Oh, I love this conversation. So fucking good. And I also just want to change up gears a little bit because there's a lot I want to talk about. There is a lot I want to talk about that I need to take off my Ugg boots for. Basically, I have shared recently that I realized that I was going after something that was not inherently mine. Like, my ego wanted it because it then proved that I was the it girl. It proved that I was loved and cherished because, like, growing up, guys, like, I had to move schools because I was severely bullied. I was receiving death threats. I had apples thrown at my head. I had a lot of wounding around that. And I realized how there was this desire to create community and just be loved and accepted and all the things and have all the followers, because it meant that, like, this is so not conscious, by the way, but then it meant that I was somewhat fucking popular and whatever. And it's like, wow, okay, I was going after something that was never inherently mine to have. I'm here to create deeply transformative and intimate spaces. And I fucking love that. And it's so interesting because what I realize is I have made almost, I need to do the math. It's either I have made $1 million, I've almost made $1 million in my business career from an email list of less than 1,000 humans. And you know what's so funny? I used to think that I was so wrong for having such a small email list. by having such a small community. And then I realized, fuck, that is my superpower. My superpower is intimate community. My superpower is being able to make people feel so seen and heard. And when I realized this the other week, that holy shit, I have made $1 million from an email list, less than 900 people. If I can do that and love that, I can do fucking anything. Because there is like this idea that in order to be super successful, we want to be able to grow our Instagram audiences. We want to grow our Facebook groups. We want to grow our podcast listens. We want to grow our email list. Like everything is growth, 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 growth. And here I was saying it wasn't enough, which is such a load of shit. Again, complete subconscious. It was such a load of shit that it's just like, wow, how magical that I create this incredibly high converting list essentially. And that's the thing that I know to be true, that when people enter my world, they don't understand me until they enter it. And then all of a sudden they're lifelong clients. Like that's literally how it works in my world. Like I would say about 70 to 80% of my clientele have gone through the entire product suite, right? Like except for one-on-one, because that's really set aside for a very exclusive woman and it's priced accordingly. But there are people that just constantly just move up and through the entire product suite. And that's because of my ability to create transformation and do what I know and I'm good at, which is getting people results. And it's just so funny because, yeah, I was chasing something that was not inherently mine. The big audiences, the sold out workshops of like hundreds of people and all the things. And then I was just like, oh my God, I feel like a failure. Why can't I do this? Blah, 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 blah. And then it's just like, holy shit, Brittney, wake up. This is your go time because this is where you are most magnetic. This is where your magic actually is. And I just want to share this because we all buy into the conditioning of high-end marketing and being viral and being so fucking visible that your audience blows up. And guess what? That can happen. I'm not saying that you're not here to let that happen. I'm just saying it's just maybe going to be a little bit more time before that actually happens. But you can make so much money from a handful of beautiful souls because you're deeply anchored in your service to them that they become just your soulmate clients. This is such a powerful, I don't know what the word is, but you know what I'm trying to say? When you can just allow yourself to know that you can make however fucking much money that you want to make, when you're deeply anchored in your service, you don't need to have over 50 clients. You don't need to have over 50 people in your fucking Instagram community. What you need to understand is your message is not to be a foghorn. Your message is not to be noise amongst the noise. Your message isn't to just be like, the louder I am, I'm going to break free from the noise and actually be seen because I got shit to say and whatever. Your message is, and forgive the terminology, but I heard it from one of my mentors, Dan Brown. And I was like, motherfucker, that's exactly what it is. And that's what I've been doing without even knowing. You don't need a megaphone. You need a dog whistle. We can't hear a dog whistle, but dogs are like, what? Okay, let's go. You're calling me over. I'm coming. Okay. That allows you to talk to a very specific kind of person. And what I have learned that I have done really well is I know how to talk to a very specific kind of person. I didn't need a megaphone. I didn't need a big fucking microphone. I have been always working with my quote unquote dog whistle, which has attracted my soulmate clients, which has allowed me to create $1 million in revenue over the years and live a very beautiful, abundant life and also create $1 million life. Like be able to invest my money. My money has then gone on to make me money. And it's just such a beautiful relief, I feel, when we can start to think about it like that, instead of having to ask ourselves, how do we be seen more? How do I disrupt it even more, right? We just allow ourselves to be like, arrow in on what it is that we're really wanting to communicate, and then just speak that till the cows come home. And your greatest asset, especially, I mean, in human design, I have a 4 line. So that's all about community and networking. So that's always been my jam. But the best way that you can look to amplify your business is quite simply through building a solid connection and relationships to the people that are in your community. You do not have to go out and see where are you going to get extra people in your space. How are you going to get more people into your email list? How am I going to get more people to come to my Instagram and follow me? How am I going to get more people to come to my TikTok? It's not about that. Change gears. How can I whistle to the people that are already there? How can I whistle to the people that are already in front of me and that I know they need my essence? I know that they need my transmission. When you can work from that space, you then remove the pressure from having to build out your business in whatever capacity you thought you needed to do, from that ego desire as opposed to soul desire. And you can start to work with the fullness of your transmission. So let's actually just bring that back for a moment. My ego desire was, I want 10,000 followers and more. Seeing my friends fucking like get their 10,000 and get their 20,000, their 30,000, their 50,000. And it's just like, what about me? Why can't I do that? Why do I lose followers all the time? Literally, why do I lose followers all the time? Do I care? I used to. Do I care a little bit still? Yeah, probably. But I was just like, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I crack the code? What am I getting so fucking wrong that's not allowing this to be the thing? And one thing that I have learned is you can be a great fucking marketer. You can be so good at marketing. And truthfully, marketing is something that I need to get better at if I want to attract more people with my dog whistle. But there is a very big difference with great marketers who know what you want, sell you what you want, but it doesn't necessarily mean you get what you want. And this is where our ego comes in and be like, well, what is it that I deeply desire? What do I soulfully and authentically want in my life? That's going to get you looking at people's messaging and marketing a lot differently. And it's also going to allow you to think about content so differently as well. Because I was like taking inspiration from my girlfriends and my mentors that I really looked up to, and I was like implementing the strategies and I was implementing the things and I was creating the content according to how they said I should create content for viral visibility and blah, 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 blah. Like, why the fuck is this not working? Because it was coming from a space of my inauthentic desire, my egoic desire, because then it meant that I was more successful. Then it meant that I could make more money. Then it meant that I can do X, Y, Z, as opposed to what feels really good to me is my fucking podcast. I love my podcast so much because I feel like I can just be me and I get to share like in fullness of the essence and the transmission that I'm here to share, as opposed to how the fuck do I put a 40-minute podcast into a carousel? Like, I can't do that. And especially this year, holy shit, where my energy was just like fucking tanked and I had nothing in me. The only thing that I could do was my podcast whenever I felt like I had the energy. And you can probably tell, like, my energy is so different now because I finally feel like I'm really coming on the way up. And what's like, I'm in my luteal phase. I am literally due for my period any fucking moment now. And it's like, oh, why am I so, like, energized? It's really nice to come back to that. But that was a tangent that you didn't need to know, but whatever. But I realized that this is how I desire to be authentically expressed and how I desire to transport and transform and transmit what it is that I'm here to share, as opposed to that soul, that ego space of me that's just like, I want to have killer fucking content. I want to have all of the things. Now, the thing is, I still want to have killer content. I still want to create content that converts. I still want to create content that is the quote unquote dog whistle to my soulmate clients who love everything that I'm sharing about and want to deepen, as opposed to selling a magic pill through my egoic desires. Because that's the thing, we tend to, until now, especially after listening to this, you tend to look at people and their containers that they, holy shit, they're the ones. They've got that magic pill. It is a simple 1-2 step process, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be that. And it's so easy to get swept up into that. It's so easy to get swept up into the idea that, fuck, that's the missing piece that I've been looking for. When in actual fact, the missing piece that you've been looking for is identify your true soul, authentic desires, working within your actual capacity and how you want to be in the world, and focusing on the community that is there, as opposed to telling yourself that they're not enough, that what's there isn't enough, and be like, how can I bring in more? It's just like, how do I just serve the people that are in front of me? And again, I have such a small audience. I really do. You can see my Instagram. I've got like 5,500 followers. Amazing. Cool. That's not that much. My email list is less than 1,000 humans. And yet I have been able to create what it is that I've created, because when I see that I've worked with the soul essence of my magic and of my message, that's just where things just deeply align and things just happen so quickly, right? Like, I sold out my retreat. In a week. From 5 or 6 Instagram posts. There was no landing page. There was no nothing. There was no emails about it. I literally put out 5 or 6 stories on my Instagram and I sold out my retreat. That's what happens when you work through this soul-led inspiration. You work with soulmate clients who, someone messaged me that's coming. She's like, I don't even know what I said yes to. I just know that I need to be there. And that's just a testament to who you are. I was like, thanks, babe. That's so nice. But that is really the essence that I amplify here. And that's what I want to amplify more of, as opposed to being like, I need to get really good at marketing. I need to create a really big flow funnel that's going to be upsell, downsell, side sell, all the things. Actually, that is still very much a desire, but that is not where I'm putting my power into. That's how I'm going to get people across the line. It's like, no, how I know that I get to bring people across the line and into my world is when I share with conviction on the inspiration that is coming through my channel, making moves accordingly, taking the step into the identity and the transmission that I know that I'm here to do, and fucking go with it. And that is how I've been able to fully recognize that we work well. When we can do that, we can do anything. And within that as well, there's like expanding your capacity. It is being supported in and amongst all of that to find your soul's essence, to find your full authentic truth, because it was really confronting, actually. Because I didn't know really what it was. I didn't know what my full soul's authentic truth was, which is why I can look back on my life and be like, oh, that's why I was so fucking indecisive, because I'm also a Libra rising. But I struggled to say yes to my life because I never really knew what I wanted. I just knew what I didn't want. And because I know that I didn't want it, I had to go do the thing over here, right? Which is be the boss babe, make the money, travel the world, do the things, right? And now it's just like, oh, okay. I had to really be honest with myself, be like, where do I feel the most authentic? And the most authentic I feel is like when I'm on the ocean, either paddling or down at the beach with Bowie, when I'm riding horses, which PS guys, please manifest with me, that I'm manifesting my horse, Harry. I really hope so. But if it doesn't come to me, I know that there's a better horse for me then, and that's okay. And when I started to think about like those authentic truths and really what they represent is just like joy and freedom and fun and play, then I can emulate that in other areas of my life where it's just like, well, if it's not that, then I don't want it. Which is why the retreat sold out so easily, because it felt like joy, it felt like fun, it felt like play, it felt like groundedness, it felt like wholesomeness. It's like, yes, I fucking want that. That's why Erotic Wealth, the 2-day immersion, sold out, because it felt like all of those things, especially after I did the Queensland one, because at first I was like, I had no idea what I was actually creating. And then when I knew what I was creating, I'm like, oh my God, this is everything. Of course Sydney sold out. Like that's how it works, because I'm now working with the authentic desires and I know how to work within that. And so what I want you guys to really ask yourself is, what do I believe my soul desires to be? What do I think that my egoic desires have been? If I was a dog whistle, how would I be showing up right now for my community? And how is my reality right now actually emulating my worst case scenario? Because as soon as you accept that and you love on that, we go into fifth gear onto the golden highway to our desires and what we want, as we are also reformulating our feminine essence amongst all of this, because the feminine essence is deeply anchored in authentic expression. The feminine essence is deeply anchored in a sense of safety and stability, right? So again, just recapping, I shared that your egoic desires were creating a form of emotional response within you. So that's what your feminine wants. It wants that emotional calibration. But if we take that desire and place that emotion in a more soulful, authentic way, you will then be able to fast track what it is that you're here to create and do, and start to work completely in unison with God, in unison with the universe, and start to work in a really beautiful way. Like when I started to really implement this after like 6 months off, like I literally have had 6 months off, essentially. I haven't launched anything. I haven't been holding much. Like I've been very much in hermit mode, in hibernation, in hiatus mode. I haven't done anything. I only did the bare minimum, in the sense of I didn't bare minimally hold my clients, the ones that I do have, but I wasn't looking to fill any more spots. I wasn't looking to re-sign in my mastermind. I wasn't looking for any of the things. I've just been holding what is here, and that's been more than enough for me. And in the last couple of weeks, I've just noticed there's been more fire. There's been more like transmission moving through me, and I'm really starting to be able to land in what it is that I'm wanting to hold and facilitate, working with these principles that I've been sharing with you today. And now especially that I'm aware that I have manifested my worst case scenario, now I get to like up level in that, which is really beautiful. In July, I had a 200% increase in my revenue. I think it was 219%. I had a 219% increase in my revenue. So yeah, a few people paid in full for the retreat. There were like other areas that's coming in where it's just like, can you send me an invoice for this? I just really want to get a bundle of 3 of your one-on-ones. And like, it was just all of this like effortless magnetism and momentum. And I was just like, oh, okay, here are the blessings that come from this ability to let go, to surrender, to really have been in that hiatus, to really been in that hermit mode. So it's just like, even if you guys are maybe in the void right now where it feels really hard, it does come back around because it's anchored in a way that is truly right to who you are. And the money just comes so easily. And from this space, it's just like, wow, that kind of growth from a space of deep fulfillment and deep sitting back and just following the fire of conviction that feels true to the essence of what I'm wanting to create. Well, shit, babe, I just like cracked the fucking code. That's the jackpot. So if I can do it, you can do it. This is literally why I have just been journeying all of this over the last 7 months, because I know that I'm here to help reformed boss babes recreate their empires in a beautifully soul orgasmic way, as opposed to a clit-based business, clit-based love, clit-based money. It's time to rehab our little souls and come into this full essence of fulfillment in a way that is just so serving to not only us, but humanity. And there was another point I wanted to make where I realized I heard myself say this, that it's like, oh, I wanted to make a bit extra. Like, I want to start hitting this amount every month. Then I asked myself, why? Why do I want that? Because the first thing that came to my mind, and I was really shocked by that, I was like, because then I can do more of the things that I want to do. AKA my lifestyle. I wanted to improve my lifestyle. I wanted to hire more people. I wanted to do some things. Obviously want to get Harry the horse. And so my why isn't wrong, because it's still a soul authentic truth, but it was creating this desire that wasn't in full service to humanity. It was in service to me. I was like, well, that's fucking gross. Okay. And also, good on you, Brittney. Good on you for like calling yourself out on that. Because I noticed that whenever I have a desire to just serve humanity and be like, this is the transmission that needs to be out there because it's going to change so many people's lives, money just comes my way. It blesses me because I'm just moving with that conviction of truth, the conviction of God, and I'm working with that. And then hearing that thought in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. I can actually see why in the past I never really was able to, stabilize higher cash months. Like, I tend to really sit around that $40,000. Like, if I really averaged it out, like I had a few high months, like there was a $78,000 month, a $60,000 month. So I feel like if I averaged it out, it's around $40,000 a month. And there was always a desire for more. And now I hearing that come from my brain, I was like, oh, wow, that's why. That's why I found it so difficult to shift gears and stabilize higher revenue and higher cash months, because it was about me. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it was about me. Now, that's not wrong. I can still have the desire, like I said, of wanting to have more money so that I can then do the things that bring me so much more joy and allow me to amplify my essence. And that is having my horse and doing my thing and hiring more help and finishing renovations and all of those things. And I can still want that, but that cannot come first. That gets to just be a byproduct of what I get to create and do. And so it's like, okay, if we can start to claim our desired financial compensation from God, if we can start to claim our desired financial compensation from the universe, and we put humanity at the forefront of that existence, you will find that you are going to bridge the gap. You're going to close the gap between these two realities coming to be. And I saw firsthand evidence of this happening last month. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So if you guys want more money, if you want to manifest more money, if you want to manifest a bigger business, I love this for you. You can absolutely have that. And also check where you're trying to put yourself first in all of that. And it's so funny because we've been in a time of life where being selfish has been celebrated, where mums putting themselves first is celebrated, and you sure as shit better be celebrating yourself and putting yourself first, mamas, because if you're not well, the family's not well. Like, you come first and foremost, abso-fucking-lutely. But the only place that we do not come first is in our impact and in the desire of what our business gets to do. Our desires of having more time freedom and all of the things get to absolutely be woven into this aspect. Like, when I first started my business, I did not start it because I'm like, I want to make 6 figures. I want to have all this time freedom. I started my business because it felt so alive and I loved how much I was helping people. They're like, holy shit, I know how to help people. I know how to change the world. Bless Brittney. Like, I love that for you. That's very big. Like, that's a very big little mission you got there. But the reason why I became so successful so quickly was because of this innate desire to just serve humanity and change people's world. And then before I knew it, I was making a shit ton of money, but I never started this to make that happen. It just ended up happening. And the moment that I can see that it was like kind of starting to become a little bit harder was when I started inserting myself in containers and masterminds from the space of, you can have it all. You want it all, you can have it all. I'm like, oh my God, can I? Fuck yeah. I want all of that. Give it to me. Give it to me right now on a silver platter. I'm going to pay you so much money to make that happen. But then I realized that's where where the rest of my life started to kind of become a dumpster fire, where my relationship was failing, where a lot of technically my money was failing too, in a way that I was so addicted to this magic pill effect that it's like, holy fuck, I get to have whatever I want. I get to buy the bags. I get to fly business class. I get to do all of those things. And then I wonder why it was kind of like starting to blow up in my face, why I was starting to get like really run down, why I was sick all the time, why all these things. And then it's just so interesting because we can still have those desires. Again, I will say that until the cows come fucking home. We can still have those desires to be looked after and resource in our life. However, if you are starting to be like doing a launch or putting out a program or putting out a product piece or making a clothing line because you feel like it's going to make you X amount of money, that is the moment that you put down the pen, you step away from the desk, you go for a fucking walk and you coach yourself or insert yourself in a safe space that feels right to be supportive of that, to come back to your service, to come back to your why, to come back to the reason of your magic in the first place is to deeply transform the lives of those around you and others. So that is how you're going to allow yourself to really change the direction and your capacity to have a very successful business, have a very stacked bank account, because you can have that. You can absolutely have that. But service, sacred service comes first. And this year, the biggest blessing, the biggest blessing that I have been given is the ability to have rested the ability to heal deeply, emotionally, energetically, physically, and psychologically, whilst being really well resourced and still making multiple 5 figures every month. And like that right there is just like, was so nourishing to my soul. And I realized for a while there, I'm like, oh my God, I'm having income dips more. And like in this space, we don't normalize income dips. Can we please fucking normalize income dips? Like, income dips are so necessary. Income dips allow you to be in new seasons. Whenever there is an income dip, it just means that you are traversing through a different season of life. There is nothing wrong with it. When I've allowed myself to really be with this, I've loved my income dips. I celebrate them because it's meant that I have been so time free and so provided for. Like, money has not shown up for, like, hasn't not shown up for me. It has continued to bless me. It has continued to love me. Yeah, sure, it's not as much as I'm used to, but if I made that wrong, guess what would have or could have happened? It could have just blown up in my face. Worst case scenario. As opposed to being deeply grateful and satisfied and fulfilled by what's here and what it's allowed me to do. Oh, damn. That feels good. That feels really good. So in a world and industry, especially if you're a coach or a healer, it's time to rewrite the narrative of what it means to be successful in this space. And it's time for you to do things on your terms, be supported in a way that feels right to you. If that's me, hit me up. You know what to do. I'm going to leave everything in the show notes. And it's just time to create the life that's deeply destined for you in a way that's so nourishing and so true and so authentic to your divine template. So then, my loves, I love you. Thanks for joining me. If you liked today's episode, of course, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, drop me some comments. I love to read them, or send me a message. I really love seeing your messages come through. So until next time, like and subscribe, bitch, and I will see you next week. Bye.